Coming up on WUFT Midday, the clock is ticking on Capitol Hill. Senate Democrats huddle as government shutdown looms. With the deadline fast approaching, will a deal get done? Trump Tower takeover. Protesters demand the release of a Colombia activist. Dozens are arrested as tensions flare over immigration and free speech.
Severe weather is likely this weekend across much of the Sunshine State. I will time out the storms. WUFT Midday starts now.
You're watching WUFT Midday.
We begin WUFT's Midday with breaking information just into the newsroom in the last 15 minutes. Convicted killer Pedro Bravo has died in a South Florida prison. According to State Attorney Brian Kramer's office, Bravo died earlier this week on March 12th. You may remember back in 2014, Bravo was convicted of killing University of Florida student Christian Aguilar. The two were friends when prosecutors say Aguilar started dating the ex-girlfriend of Bravo. Aguilar's body was found poisoned and beaten in Levy County in 2012. Bravo's official cause of death has not yet been determined. We will continue to follow updates involving this developing story and bring you the latest tonight on WUFT's First at 5. Senate Democrats are huddled behind closed doors, figuring out their next move to keep the government running. The House already passed a GOP-led bill to fund the government for 6 months, and now it's the Senate's turn. This is WUFT Midday, and I'm Tanya Fedak. As Amy Kiley reports, with the deadline fast approaching, Republicans will need at least 8 Democratic votes to push the bill through.
I will vote to keep the government open.
Those words signal the federal government might not shut down tonight. The Senate is set to vote on a GOP funding bill today that's already through the House. Republicans need a handful of Democrats to reach 60 votes and close debate. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will be one of them.
I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people.
But it's still not clear if the bill will pass. Schumer's statement follows his earlier claim that Democrats had the votes to block the measure.
And we should be hell no, and we should use our leverage in the Senate to negotiate a much better deal.
Democrats want to push back on President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans. They want to rein in efforts to dismantle federal agencies, fire government workers, and cut funding from some programs. That's why House Democrats say they oppose the bill.
What voting for this CR does is that it codifies the chaos and the reckless cuts that Elon Musk has been pursuing.
On the other hand, a shutdown could hurt the economy when it's already reeling from new tariffs. Some Democrats also worry Trump could use a shutdown to push even more cuts.
We are in a perverse, bizarro land where we're having to decide between letting Donald Trump wreck the government this way or wreck the government that way.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Jewish Voice for Peace activists filled Trump Tower's lobby Thursday, protesting the arrest of Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University pro-Palestinian activist. WFT's Matthew Montalto joins us live in the studio. And Matthew, we understand close to 100 people were arrested.
That's right, Tanya. Police say 98 people were arrested on charges of trespassing, obstructing government administration, and resisting arrest. The organization Jewish Voice for Peace live-streamed the sit-in, showing hundreds of demonstrators packed into the building's lobby. Protesters arrived in 2 groups around 11:30 a.m. Police say some entered through a side door and others to the front, dressed in regular clothing before revealing their protest gear underneath. 300 protesters came out. Some of them hung 2 banners along the golden escalator President Donald Trump rode down when he first launched his presidential campaign in 2015. Police say there were no injuries or damage to the property. The protesters being detained could be seen handcuffed in white zip ties while being escorted into police vehicles and empty city buses. Live in the studio, Matthew Montalto, WUFT News.
An American Airlines plane caught fire at Denver International Airport after landing safely. The crew had reported engine vibrations leading to the diversion. 12 passengers were hospitalized with minor injuries. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating the incident, and American Airlines expressed gratitude for the quick response from the crew and first responders. And after a cool start, temperatures will reach the 80s this afternoon. WFT's Nicole Borman joins us now, and she says stormy skies are returning this weekend.
That's right, Tanya. Even though we saw some pretty high UV levels earlier on this week, we could be seeing some really cloudy skies this weekend. Right now, we're tracking this severe risk right now that could be pushing over Florida. I'll tell you more about that later on into our broadcast. But right now, skies are looking pretty nice outside. We have a few clouds over Century Tower and over the stadium. Temperatures right now already in those mid-70s, and they're only getting warmer into this afternoon. But right now, we're seeing those temperatures right now all over. We're seeing 82 in Gainesville, 84 in Ocala, 81 the start going into your afternoon. Those are your highs for today. And it's looking like your highs for the rest of your weekend, but the storm that could be passing over is going to make it not feel as nice to have those temperatures. Right now we're tracking this low pressure system that's going to be pushing through this high risk storm over us over the weekend. We're seeing it more on Saturday afternoon going into Sunday, maybe a little bit on a Monday going into your St. Patrick's Day, but don't let that fool you. Those temperatures are still looking pretty nice, but they could be getting a little bit cooler on into the day, almost 20-degree drop into the night. But later on to the show, I'll be telling you more about this storm that we could be passing us and the warm weekend we have ahead of us.
And Cedar Key is still without a grocery store after the damage from Hurricane Helene in September. WFT's Alex Land went out to the coastal community to see how residents are doing.
The soothing waves on the shore blended with the vibrant sense of community create a harmony that draws families like Tim Solano's to Cedar Key.
My dad had a business here, which now I run with my family. Say we're second generation Cedar Keyans.
On this sunny Saturday, his kids play in a cardboard box, turning simple moments into treasured memories.
Cedar Key.
But life in Cedar Key has been anything but simple.
Helene was devastating. It was the worst storm in generations for this island. We've lost nearly 40 homes on the island and lots of businesses.
The community is working tirelessly to rebuild after Category 4 Hurricane Helene ravaged the quaint beach town. But they're still missing a basic need.
These barren walls surrounding me used to hold shelves stocked with grocery items. But after Hurricane Helene tore through Cedar Key, it destroyed its one grocery store. Now, 5 months later, it remains in ruins.
It makes it very difficult for families just to get a normal meal on their table at the end of the day.
Cedar Key residents have resorted to driving 45 minutes to and from Chiefland to get to the nearest grocery store. Solano says having 3 kids to care for adds even more challenges, like grabbing baby products.
You got to change your routine, and 45-minute drive just to go one way to grab a pack of diapers and wipes it's hard and expensive.
And expensive is right. Solano's driving 35 miles each way, with the average car getting 25 miles per gallon and gas costing about $3.21 per gallon in Levy County. That adds up. Solano's paying about $40 more per month just for gas. Resident Nancy Baldwin says the people of Cedar Key are especially vulnerable.
A lot of our people that live here are verging on elderly, and it's a very long drive for them particularly.
Over half of Cedar Key is 65 and older, according to the U.S. Census.
That's the biggest problem. It's so far away.
Despite the challenge, the community is finding a way to adapt. Baldwin worked with local business owners to put on a farmer's market.
Oh, jalapenos. That's cool. And we all got together and put our heads together and did it.
And it's been a huge help.
I love the farmer's market. I think it's a really good idea because, we don't have hardly anything out here.
We got oatmeal chocolate chip cookies and chocolate chip scones over here.
And we get to provide things for the community at the same time.
As the city gets back on its feet, Baldwin expresses gratitude for her tight-knit community.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I would never leave because people here in Cedar Key are so helpful, so kind. I can't think of a place I would rather live. It's wonderful.
The farmers market offers a temporary fix, as the road to recovery for Cedar Key is far from over.
And I just urge everyone, come on out and just support this community as we're getting back up on our feet and going.
Without a grocery store, Solano and his family are still missing a key piece of what makes this island home.
We're working to learn the official opening date for the grocery store. And once we have that information, we'll bring it to you on WUFT.org. A new affordable housing project is breaking ground in East Gainesville, aiming to provide quality homes for local residents in need. One nonprofit leader deeply rooted in the community is behind the effort to bring change. WFT's Nicole has a closer look at what's to come.
I'm on the corner of Southeast 21st Street, where just behind me, construction is beginning for what I'm told are 22 apartments. The development comes from one Gainesville resident's plan to fight against a housing crisis. Construction for Jesse's Village is underway. The 22 one-story apartments, funded by several city grants, will be designed for residents making no greater than 65% of the area median income, which for a family of 4 would be no more than $62,000 annually, a number found by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. With dreams to honor the community he grew up in, Kendrell Hutchinson, a local nonprofit developer and East Gainesville resident, is the mind behind Jesse's Village, which he named after his grandmother.
We've done a great deal of speaking to the residents in this community to see exactly what they need, what they want as residents here, and they're looking for quality housing.
Hutchinson believes local development creates trust between developers and neighbors, one of the advantages often missing from remote development companies coming into town.
That's become an issue in our community because we're not giving our community what it needs. We're giving the community what the developers want.
Although Jesse's Village received government funding, millions of dollars in federal contracts for affordable housing were canceled after the Department of Government Efficiency reviewed housing projects associated with DEI efforts. For that reason, Hutchinson is grateful his project received city funding of $511,700. And with federal losses across the nation, he believes this project is that much more important.
In order to be able to do this in an efficient manner and not compromise our purpose and the quality of these development projects, those funds are needed.
Members of Nation's Family Church, the neighborhood's place of worship sitting just across the street from the construction site, are welcoming Jesse's Village with open arms.
It's not really taboo, to build on this side of town, but this is hope. Yeah, it can be done with the right partnerships and the right people, that anything is possible.
Hutchinson and Lewis both describe East Gainesville as an area where housing and retail have an opportunity to flourish.
We're going to bring exactly what they want if the county allows.
As Jesse's Village embarks on its path to possibility, they're both ecstatic for what the future holds for East Gainesville. Although construction for this plan is only beginning, Hutchinson tells me he has other plans in mind to transform this community he admires. In East Gainesville, I'm Nicole Beltran, WUFT News.
The Gators men's basketball team will begin their SEC play tonight after earning a double bye. WFT's Brooke Park is alive in the studio with a preview of tonight's primetime matchup.
The Florida men's basketball team will tip off their SEC tournament tonight in the quarterfinal stage against Missouri. It was wheels up for the team on Thursday. This is a bit of a revenge mission for Todd Golden's team. The last time they faced the Tigers, they lost by a single point. And with some players overlooked this week for all conference nods, Golden says they are extra motivated.
With Elijah and Will not making any of the all-league teams, and then, Elijah and Ruben not getting on all defense, I think those are things that, our team will definitely use as motivation going into this weekend.
Miss against the #1 seed Auburn at 1 p.m. Following that, Texas and Tennessee play at 3:30 p.m. The Gators and Tigers go at 7 p.m. and the quarters wrap at 9:30 p.m. with Kentucky and Alabama. A win for the Gators tonight would advance them to the semifinals Saturday. The SEC championship game is on Sunday at 1 p.m. Reporting live in the studio, Brooke Park, WFT News.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm feeling a little sunburnt today. Looking and feeling it.
But you look just as beautiful as always. And if it makes you feel any better, we're not going to be seeing as much sun this weekend. Although there are some clouds over our skies right now, we are going to be seeing a little bit heavier of them going on into the weekend with some possibilities of some storms. But right now, let's just enjoy the temperature. Right now, we got them in those mid-70s. Later on into the weekend, we could be seeing them even in those 80s, or later on even into today. So right now in Gainesville, we have 75 in Gainesville, 76 in Ocala, 74 in the Stark, just those mid to low 70s all over the state. And later on into the afternoon, we could be seeing those low to mid 80s all over the state. We're seeing 82 in Gainesville, 84 in Ocala, and 83 in the Villages. But later on into the weekend, we're going to be seeing as this low pressure system is going to be pushing this development right over us right here in Florida. We're seeing those moderate risks and those enhanced risks over here in the Panhandle, but mainly into the Central Florida. We're going to be seeing those marginal and those slight risks risk pushing over us. But as of for right now, those temperatures are going to be pretty low tomorrow morning, but don't let that fool you. We're going to be having a very, very warm afternoon. So be sure to dress for the warmth, not for that cold you feel in the morning. Now, back over to here, we're going to be seeing those warmer temperatures later on. We're going to be seeing those as that continues to keep us warm, but it won't be feeling much like it with that storm outside. We're seeing as this affects all parts of the panhandle and it's going to be pushing through over into Florida. We're going to see how that's going to track out. We're seeing as that storm continues to push out into Saturday morning, into that Saturday afternoon time, and then overnight we're going to be seeing as that storm continues to pass over north central Florida and then right past us into our Monday morning, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. But with that rain, we are seeing those risks higher up here in north central Florida than we would be seeing in the south, but we're going to be seeing that rain pass through as well. Now, as that rain continues to pass over us, we're not going to be seeing too much more over than an inch, so there is the possibility of those flash flood warning, but it's not as high as we would be expecting it if it was a lot heavier of a storm, so nothing really to worry about too much. But that temperature is going to be looking really nice right now and over the weekend, but that rain is going to be really heavy. For your 7-day forecast, we are seeing those temperatures in those upper 70s and then continue to drop throughout your week as we get a little bit warmer into the midweek, and that rain happening obviously on Sunday.
Now let's head over to our Noticias partners for a look at today's top stories for our Spanish language audience.
Hola, soy Gabriela Valdes con tus noticias en 90 segundos. Un avión de American Airlines se incendió el jueves en el Aeropuerto Internacional de Denver. 12 personas fueron trasladadas al hospital con heridas leves. El vuelo partió de Colorado Springs en camino al Aeropuerto Internacional de Dallas-Fort Worth cuando se desvió al Aeropuerto Internacional de Denver. La aeronave estaba rodeando la puerta de embarque tras aterrizar cuando experimentó un problema con el motor. El incendio empezó a las 6 de la tarde y las personas que estaban a bordo fueron evacuadas usando los toboganes. 12 personas fueron trasladadas a hospitales con heridas leves. El expresidente de Perú, Pedro Castillo, fue transferido al hospital después de días en huelga de hambre en la prisión. Oficiales dicen que fue ingresado al hospital por preocupación de su salud. Castillo está encarcelado desde 2022 debido a la disolución del Congreso y el querer gobernar por su propio decreto. Desde hace 3 días, Castillo se encuentra en huelga de hambre en protesta a su juicio por rebelión. Jubilados argentinos y aficionados de varios equipos de fútbol protestan frente al Congreso en la capital, Buenos Aires, contra las políticas económicas. Los jubilados de Buenos Aires han realizado protestas semanales exigiendo pensiones más altas. El presidente Javier Milei, que ha perseguido recortes en el gasto público, había advertido de restricciones a la entrada a los estados para quienes causen desorden. El Ministerio de Seguridad de Argentina prohíbe a cualquier persona que se involucre en comportamientos violentos, incluyendo los fanáticos, asistir a los juegos de su equipo por un periodo de tiempo. Esas fueron tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
Today is Pi Day, celebrating the mathematical constant 3.14159. Math lovers mark the occasion by reciting digits of pi and enjoying pi. Pi has been calculated to over 50 trillion digits and still goes on forever. Despite its infinite nature, only a few digits are needed for most calculations. Whether you're a math whiz or just here for dessert, Pi Day is all about fun with numbers. And now let's get over to WFT First at 5 anchor Mar Roches with a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
Coming up on First at 5, U.S. Department of Agriculture cuts, measles, and this weekend's Clydesdale parade. First, Food for Kids says the U.S. Department of Agriculture's funding cuts affect schools. Also, Alachua County Public Schools' response to the measles outbreak. And details on this weekend's Clydesdale parade, which is something that I'm really excited for because it kicks off our spring break, but also Marion County Public Schools spring break.
Well, that spring break is going to start off with a little bit of rain this weekend. We're seeing some high storms coming in this week with that heavy rain coming into us on Sunday with the possibilities of flash flood risk, but nothing too much to be worried about. And then starting off on Monday with that fun St. Patrick's Day, temperature's going to be a little bit colder, but they are going to be picking up midweek.
And thanks for joining us for WUFT Midday.